What if I told you the next generation isn't just sitting around waiting to be saved? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful message from the world's youth. It's a direct call to action aimed at today's leaders. This is a raw, unfiltered look at the future they're being handed and the one they're determined to build for themselves. Wow. I mean, that's not just an introduction, is it? That's a declaration. A whole generation is telling us, straight up, that they feel left behind, that their future has been mortgaged by decisions they didn't even get to make. That one sentence, it just captures the immense weight of their reality. So, what does that reality actually look like? Well, the first part of their message lays out the hard evidence, the data behind what's being called a global youth crisis. And honestly, it's pretty stark. Okay, let's start with this number. Nearly 65 million. That's how many young people between the ages of 15 and 24 are unemployed across the globe. You've got to remember, these aren't just statistics on a slide. These are individual lives, futures, and dreams that are just teetering on the edge. And here's the kicker. The problem doesn't hit everyone equally. The unemployment rate for young people is more than 3 times the rate for adults. That just screams that there's a systemic issue here, where the youngest people in the workforce are shouldering the heaviest burden by far. And this chart, it just puts that gap on full display, doesn't it? That towering bar for youth unemployment next to the much, much smaller one for adults. It's more than just data. It's a picture of a huge generational divide when it comes to opportunity. And this economic crisis has a devastating human cost. There's a direct line from this widespread unemployment to a massive mental health emergency. Get this, 4 out of 10 high schoolers say they feel persistently sad or hopeless. This is way beyond just teenage angst. It's a public health crisis, one where suicide has tragically become a leading cause of death for young people. So when you're facing that reality, it's no wonder the message frames the situation as a battle, a war for the future. But what's really fascinating is how they define the enemy. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect. All right, here's a really crucial point they make. The perceived threat, what everyone's talking about, is AI, this fear that machines are coming for all our jobs. But this message argues that AI isn't the real foe. The actual threat is a broken system of scarcity, this old belief that there aren't enough resources or opportunities to go around, which ends up pitting our human potential against technological progress. So the real war, as they see it, is against a few key things. First, it's against that scarcity mindset that locks opportunities away. Second, it's against poor leadership that seems to thrive on conflict instead of collaboration. And finally, it's a fight against a future where we're all just paid to be idle while AI does all the work, which could totally erode our sense of purpose. But here's the thing. This is not a story of despair. Not at all. The message takes a sharp pivot right here, moving from defining the problem to showing us a solution that's already in motion, led by a whole new kind of leader. They call themselves improvement architects, or IAs, and what they are is really key. These are young leaders using a platform called Me Vision to actively harness AI, not fight it. Their goal is to blend technology with our own human essence to create a culture of constant learning and growth. So, what does an IA actually do? Well, you can think of them as curators and catalysts for change. They find the best improvement content out there from all over the world. Then they use AI to help process it and share it. And then they actively work with today's leaders to help them, their teams, and all of society get better. It's a really proactive, hands-on approach. But to really bring this all to life, the message includes some incredibly powerful words from the IAS themselves. So let's hear directly from some of these young leaders who are on the front lines of this movement. First up, this really highlights that shift from just personal frustration to collective empowerment. It's not just about self-improvement. It's about creating a ripple effect, turning your own growth into a tool you can use to lift other people up. Next, builders of possibilities. I love that phrasing. It reframes sponsorship from just a simple donation into a direct investment in a new generation of leaders. Leaders who are ethical, tech-savvy, and literally building a better future. And this one is just so powerful. It shows that the impact goes so much deeper than just one person. Supporting is really an investment in their whole community, giving them not just income, but also purpose, hope, and a real path forward. Now, here's the perspective from an 18-year-old. For them, support isn't just about money.
It's about validation. It's proof that the work these young people are doing is actually valued, and that strengthens the entire movement and motivates them to keep going.
And finally, this quote just perfectly sums up the core belief of this whole movement. It's about taking responsibility and turning what you learn into real meaningful action. It's a chance to make a difference, and they're seizing it.
So all of these voices lead us to the final part of the message, a direct call to action. But again, it's not a plea for help. It's something different. It's an invitation to partner up, to build a shared future.
This line is so important. The message is crystal clear. They are not asking for handouts. This is an invitation to join an abundance culture, an ecosystem built on the idea that when knowledge is shared and everyone is growing, there's more than enough success to go around for everybody. So how does it actually work? Well, the proposal is a pretty simple three-part pledge. First, 25% of your contribution gets converted into their digital currency, called MV, and it's returned right back to you. The rest is split between rewarding the IAs for their incredible work and fueling the growth of the entire learning ecosystem. And this is where that win-win aspect really comes into focus. That digital currency, MEV, has appreciated over 8,000% since late 2024. Yeah, you heard that right. It just reinforces this idea of a shared investment, turning part of your pledge from a simple donation into what could be a growing asset. So the final call is clear and totally actionable. You can pledge to the cause, you can specifically sponsor an improvement architect from your own community, or you can even become one yourself. And the contact info is right there, providing a direct way to get involved. And it all ends with this one powerful, thought-provoking question. It's a direct challenge, really. The movement is already happening. The future is being built, with or without help. The only question left to answer is, will you help them lead it?